It starts the same way it always does, quietly. A missed call, a strange silence, the subtle shift in tone when they speak your name. You feel it before you know it. Betrayal never shouts. It hums beneath the surface like a warning from the bones. They looked you in the eyes and smiled, but the truth was already bleeding behind their teeth. You gave them loyalty, blind, unfiltered, real. They took it and fed it to their temporary need for attention. You were never part of their plan, only their convenience. The night it all cracked, you remember every detail. The cold light of your phone screen, the screenshots that confirmed what your gut had whispered for weeks, the words that didn't just cut, they disassembled you. You sat there, hands shaking, trying to piece together how someone could turn your trust into a weapon. You replayed every conversation, every shared laugh, searching for the moment they decided you were expendable. But there wasn't one. Betrayal is never born in the open. It grows in the shadows, watered by envy and silence. You don't cry. You freeze. Your mind becomes an interrogation room, every memory a suspect. Their smile becomes evident. Their promises become lies written in invisible ink. You thought pain would come from the loss, but it came from the realization that you had been loyal to a performance. You mistook manipulation for connection, and now you sit in the debris of your own sincerity, realizing that honesty can be a death sentence in a world built on masks. For days, you carry the ache like a phantom limb. No one notices. They move on, laugh, breathe, while you suffocate beneath the weight of unanswered questions. That's when it hits you. The world doesn't pause for your heartbreak. It watches, silently, to see if you'll collapse. You learn that betrayal isn't the end. It's the initiation. The moment life shows you how blind you've been. In the stillness that follows, something ancient stirs inside you, a darker clarity. You begin to see how the weak use deception as strategy, how the kind are often chosen as sacrifices. You understand why lions walk alone, not out of pride but precision. You realize power was never about being liked. It was about surviving the silence after they've turned their backs. They think they ended you. They don't see the rebirth in your stillness. You no longer crave apologies, you crave truth, the kind that burns illusions to ash. And as the smoke clears, you see yourself for what you are. Unbreakable, not because you've never been betrayed, but because you were and still didn't disappear. They chose temporary. You became timeless. You wake up, but nothing feels alive. The air is thick, heavier than before, and silence wraps around you like punishment. The people who once swore they'd stand beside you have vanished into the mist. Their laughter replaced by unread messages, their warmth by the chill of your own reflection. You scroll through your phone just to see the proof conversations cut mid-sentence, loyalty turned ghost. That's when it hits. Betrayal isn't loud, it's quiet. It leaves without slamming the door, confident you won't chase. Days blur. You start measuring time by how long the light takes to fade through the blinds. Food loses taste. Music loses rhythm. You stare at the ceiling until thoughts become voices, and those voices whisper one truth: no one's coming. You gave too much of yourself to people who used your soul as currency, and when you stopped being useful, they traded you for something cheaper: attention. That's the first death. The death of illusion. The moment you realize love, friendship, loyalty, all of it can rot when convenience calls. There's a specific kind of silence after betrayal. Not the peaceful kind, but the kind that screams without sound. You walk through the same streets, the same rooms, but everything feels different. The walls remember. The ground feels colder. Even the mirror becomes an enemy, showing you a version of yourself you don't recognize. Hollow eyes, clenched jaw, heartbeat buried under disbelief. You whisper questions that dissolve before they reach the air. How could they? Why me? But the world doesn't answer. It never does. So you stop asking. You start disappearing instead. You go dark. You let their world continue without you. You delete, block, vanish, not out of weakness, but because pain demands isolation. You sit in the dark long enough to realize something strange. Pain isn't trying to destroy you. It's trying to strip you of illusions, of dependence, of softness that can be exploited. Every night feels endless until one evening, you no longer fear the silence. You start listening to it. And buried inside that silence is the faint rhythm of survival. Slow, defiant, ancient. That's when the transformation begins. Not with anger, not with revenge, but with stillness. You learn to exist in your own company, You start building armor from the wreckage. You look at your reflection and see not what was lost, but what remains. You don't want them back. You want yourself back, and piece by piece you begin to return, colder, clearer, quieter. They thought breaking you would erase you, but all it did was teach you the truth every survivor eventually learns: the world doesn't care if you drown, so you learn to breathe underwater. You stare into the mirror, but the person staring back is a stranger. Eyes once filled with warmth now look like sharpened glass, emotionless, aware, alive in a way that pain alone can forge. You used to flinch at your reflection, used to see every flaw they made you believe was real. But tonight, something shifts. There's no trembling in your hands anymore, no desperate voice begging to be understood, just silence. Heavy divine silence. You realize it now. No one is coming. No apology, no rescue, no redemption from the people who left you bleeding when you needed them most. The mirror doesn't lie. It shows what's left when everything false has been burned away. The room feels colder, but your thoughts burn hotter. Every memory of betrayal plays like a ritual, not a tragedy, but an initiation. You remember their laughter, their absence, their lies coated in charm. Once those memories broke you. Now they're fuel. Each one is a brand seared into your mind, marking the death of who you were. They didn't destroy you. They purified you. You begin to understand why certain people were meant to disappear. Not because you weren't enough, but because they were never real enough to stand beside what you were becoming. You lean closer to the glass. The reflection doesn't flinch. You used to look away when life got dark, but now you stare straight into it. That's where truth hides, in the darkness that doesn't ask for light. You whisper to yourself, I am still here. It's not defiance. It's resurrection. The sound of your own voice is foreign, yet powerful, like hearing a prophecy spoken through you rather than by you. The weakness that once begged for love now listens for strategy. The same heart that was broken now beats like a war drum, slow, deliberate, dangerous. There's no anger left, only clarity. You finally see that the mirror isn't showing you who you are, it's showing you who survived. Scars trace maps across your reflection, each one pointing to a lesson carved in silence. You see the difference now. They broke you for the same reason people fear storms. They never understood that chaos could also cleanse. Every tear you shed washed away a layer of softness that no longer belonged. Every sleepless night rewired something ancient inside you. Pain, repeated often enough, becomes precision. You step back from the mirror. The stranger you feared has become your weapon. There's no need for validation, no craving for their approval. You've learned the most dangerous truth of all. Power doesn't arrive with noise, it awakens in quiet realization. And as you turn away, the mirror doesn't reflect a victim anymore. It reflects a verdict. The world took everything that made you human and left something the world will never be ready for. You stop waiting for them to call. The silence used to feel like death. Now it feels like armor. Every morning you rise before the sun, not to chase success, but to burn away weakness. You train your mind like a blade, carving through every excuse you once believed. There's no applause, no validation, no witness, just the rhythm of your breath against the weight of your own resistance. This is where most people quit, in the quiet where nothing seems to happen, but not you. You've learned that transformation doesn't roar. It whispers, it bleeds, it demands. The betrayal still lingers like a scar you can't scrub clean, but instead of hating them, you thank them. Because their absence built something their presence never could. Hunger. A kind of hunger that doesn't crave revenge, only evolution. You stop talking about what you'll do. You just do it. One task, one repetition, one cold shower at dawn. Every small act is a declaration I survived. You stop scrolling. Stop comparing. Stop seeking comfort in sympathy. You choose the warpath instead, quiet, patient, inevitable. The world outside is chaos, trends, noise, masks. But in your solitude, you start to see the pattern. Power is not built in public, it's assembled in secret. While they celebrate illusions, you lay bricks. Each failure becomes material. Each insult, a spark. You take the parts of you that were broken and arrange them into something no one can read. A language of discipline. The grind becomes sacred. You no longer chase light. You generate it. You start noticing things others miss. How people speak before they think. How their confidence cracks when silence stretches too long. You study human nature like a strategist studies a battlefield. You see fear in their eyes, the same fear that once lived in you. But now you wear it like perfume, familiar, faint, and harmless. Every scar they left becomes a map guiding you toward control. You learn to move through rooms quietly, to let curiosity replace reaction, to let stillness become your dominance. There's a moment, maybe at 300 a.m., maybe between breaths, when you realize the grind isn't punishment, it's prophecy. You were meant to fall so you could learn the anatomy of resilience. You were meant to lose everything to learn how to build from nothing. Now, every repetition, every lonely night, every hour of silence is proof that pain didn't break you, it rebuilt you. You are no longer the person who begged for closure. You are the storm that silence created. And while they sleep, you rise, invisible, relentless, unstoppable. They thought silence meant defeat, but it was the sound of something ancient waking inside you. Every betrayal, every whisper behind your back became kindling for a fire that would not go out. You didn't beg, you didn't explain. You burned quietly, methodically, like steel learning its own temperature. They mistook your stillness for surrender, but you were only studying the enemy, memorizing the rhythm of their laughter so you could outlast it. The night they forgot you existed was the night you stopped needing to be remembered. You started moving differently. Every step carried calculation instead of hope. The same streets that once mocked your footsteps now echoed with purpose. You no longer prayed for peace. You forged it in your own bloodstream. There was a strange beauty in the isolation, no noise, no applause, only the raw hum of survival. You stopped fighting people and started fighting your own weakness. You stopped explaining pain and started sculpting it. The mirror that once reflected a broken version of you now revealed something colder, something exacting. You didn't rebuild, you evolved. They thought your heart was gone. It wasn't. You just stopped giving it away. They thought your kindness was weakness. It wasn't. It was strategy. You learned that mercy, when misplaced, becomes poison. So you turned every wound into warning. You spoke less, but when you did, your words carried the weight of thunder after years of drought. The fire inside you wasn't rage anymore, it was control. You no longer wanted revenge, you wanted mastery. You no longer wanted to prove them wrong. You wanted to prove yourself inevitable. Now they see the smoke, but they can't trace it back to you. You move in silence, but the ground shifts when you pass. Your eyes no longer plead, they measure. Your voice doesn't rise, it resonates. You became what they feared most, someone who cannot be broken, because you've already been broken and kept walking. The version of you they betrayed was soft. The version that rose is surgical. You used to seek understanding. Now you demand respect without words. They gave you ashes, but you built architecture. They left you bleeding, but you learned to cauterize your own wound. They thought they buried you, but they planted something. Every smirk they gave was a seed. Every silence was rain. Every doubt was sunlight. And now the garden grows in fire. You don't chase, you attract through gravity alone. You don't shout, you command with stillness. They thought they ended you, but they only forced you to meet the version of yourself that was always waiting beneath the ruins, patient, merciless, and beautifully untouchable. You return the same way you left, quietly, without a warning, without a sound. The streets that once watched you crawl now feel smaller beneath your feet. You don't announce your arrival. You don't post about it. You just walk through the same doors that used to close on you, and the air shifts. They feel it before they see you. The silence that used to hum with their ladder now bends around your presence like gravity remembering the weight it betrayed. You're not back to prove anything. You're back because what you built in the dark no longer fits in the shadows. The ones who once stood above you don't laugh anymore. They glance, then look away. They don't know what changed. Your face looks the same, but your eyes tell a story they can't read. You don't carry anger now, you carry understanding. That's what terrifies them most. They played a temporary game, but you became something ancient, calm, cold, patient. You learned that revenge spoken is weak, but revenge lived is eternal. You stopped wanting to hurt them. You just wanted them to witness what they lost when they mistook kindness for weakness. Your power no longer needs words. It exists in the silence between your steps. The same silence that once swallowed you now announces you like thunder before a storm. You remember the nights they laughed while you broke, the way they whispered, the way they counted you out. Now they count your wins instead, pretending they always believe. But you know the truth. They only believe in you when it benefits. That's why you stopped seeking belief. You built faith in yourself from the ruins they left behind. Every scar became a symbol, every loss a commandment. You don't smile when you see them. You don't gloat, you simply nod, not as an equal, but as a reminder. A reminder that real power doesn't chase recognition. It attracts silence. They feel it, that chill that follows after arrogance collapses. They regret it now. But regret doesn't fix the architecture of betrayal. You learn to walk without their applause, to win without their permission. They built their peace on your absence. You built an empire on their doubt. Now your presence is prophecy. Your discipline speaks louder than their excuses. You don't burn bridges anymore. You build walls of focus they'll never climb. The same hands that trembled once now shape destiny. And the same voice they silenced now echoes through every result you've carved into the world. You don't need to tell them you made it. They already know. They feel it every time your name crosses their mind like a quiet curse. A reminder of what they could have had if they hadn't betrayed a real one for something temporary. The world used to be loud around you. Every whisper, every glance, every betrayal echoed inside your head until silence became unbearable. You wanted to explain yourself, to prove them wrong, to make them see. But you learned the hardest lesson: power doesn't argue. It waits, it endures, it transforms. And now, the same silence that once suffocated you has become your weapon. You wear it like armor. You walk through chaos untouched, because you've already been broken in ways they'll never understand. They see you now and they flinch, though you haven't raised a hand. You move differently, speak rarely. The ones who once betrayed you try to measure your calm, but there's no pulse to read anymore. You outgrew their noise. You became something they can't interpret, and that terrifies them, because the real transformation isn't loud, it's invisible. It's the quiet rebuilding of someone they thought they destroyed. They traded loyalty for comfort, but you traded pain for evolution, and now they regret it. Not because you're gone, but because you became unreachable. There's a look in your eyes now, the kind that doesn't seek understanding. You've seen behind the curtain of people's intentions. You've walked through fire and found peace in the ashes. You learned to love the storm because it taught you how to stand still while everything else burned. They mistake your stillness for peace, but it's precision. You don't react, you calculate. You don't chase, you attract by gravity alone. They call it mystery, you call it survival. You understand now that silence is not emptiness, it's control. It's the sound of power choosing not to explain itself. Every scar you carry has turned into language. You speak through results now, through presence, through the way the air shifts when you walk into a room. You've become fluent in restraint, no applause, no vengeance, just a quiet existence that burns brighter than revenge ever could. You stopped needing closure because the silence gave you something louder, clarity. You see life as a chessboard now, every betrayal a move that forced your ascension. They thought they removed you from the game, but you became the board itself. Now, when they whisper your name, it's with a kind of reverence. They don't talk about what you said, they talk about what you didn't. That's the power they'll never reclaim. You don't wear a crown of gold, yours is made of scars and restraint, forged in the moments you could have destroyed them but chose discipline instead. You learned that the true king never declares his reign. The silence does it for him. And in that silence, you finally understand they didn't create your strength. Their betrayal only revealed it.